Hey Gemini, how are we today? Just doing our weekly readings. This week we are sort of asking, what's the goss? Okay, so firstly we're going to be asking, what's the goss with you yourself, Gemini? So for that particular question, we have the Oracle of the Shapeshifters as well as the Slavish folklore lenormand. But I also will be asking, what's the goss with your love life, Gemini? And we do have the Hidden Truth Oracle as well as those heart-shaped lovers Oracle. Okay, so getting into it for you today, Gemini. What is the goss with Gemini? What's the goss, Gemini? So in the intention of this reading is to sort of look a little bit deeper below the surface and maybe find some stuff that you may not be aware about going on for you or around you. All right. You may have noticed I have sort of made a bit of a decision to not do the third all signs over the weekends. I will be sort of doing shorts for the next foreseeable Sunday uploads. See how we go with that. Just that way we're going to get a bit more of a dynamic of different sort of things going on. But I am sort of looking into some other stuff as well at the moment. But I was just finding having 7 days a week doing videos was just a little bit taxing on me personally. And being a such a small channel, not monetized or anything like that, it was just getting a little bit taxing on my energy. So I have just made that change for the moment and see how we go. So make sure you subscribe if you're not already. I do really appreciate it and will help us get to some of those goals longer term. Okay, Gemini, what's the goss for Gemini? Okay, you belong. Raised by wolves, Gemini. So that does say you belong. So that's all about your tribe and, the people around you and belonging to a certain group or dynamic. And I do feel as though we have recently had some sort of alternate reading when it comes to you and platonic connections and whatnot, Gemini. But I feel this is all about you and your own sense of belonging. So, whatever we've pulled up in that, I think it was last week's reading for you, Gemini, that may have actually made you realize where you do truly belong and the people that are truly, part of your tribe. We also have the brother raccoon there. A safe place for you to go. So yeah, that safety net, that support system. So that's sort of the goss for you at the moment, Gemini. I feel like you're doing a lot of work at the moment, just sort of clarifying, those dynamics around you and who truly is going to be in your life long term, who really is the supportive ones and who you sort of happy to let sort of toddle off out of your life at the moment. So I feel like that's something going on for you at the moment, Gemini. Okay, Gemini. What's the goss going on in Gemini's life? Yeah, pretty much exactly what we were just talking about. We do have the mountain first and foremost. So you are sort of slowly getting there, getting over some obstacles to do with relationships. All right, we do have the ring coming through as well. So, just a few challenges, obstacles, getting over those hurdles, I suppose, in relationships going on around you. If you haven't actually had those challenges or delays even that have sort of started occurring for you, I do feel as though that's something that is coming up for you a lot at the moment, Gemini. These hurdles, I suppose, with relationships around you. Now, for a lot of you, I don't feel as though this is love relationships. I feel like this is just, pretty much all the other relationships in your life. For some of you, it may be, friends dynamics, family dynamics, but also I am sort of feeling that for a couple of you there, we're looking at the workplace sort of dynamics and, just having some hurdles with how we're getting along with people, the relationships that we're having and the depth those relationships, and sort of starting to understand, which relationships are, part of your tribe there, and which relationships you do belong with that relationship, or feeling aside from other relationships, just feeling like it's not really for me. So we have that followed up with the grave there, which is that coffin energy. So it really does show us that, there possibly are some relationships that you're choosing to, close the lid on and end those connections with those certain people that aren't serving your highest good. So, for you, Gemini, I feel like the goss is that you are closing yourself off to the people that aren't actually, creating any hype in your life, really. Closing yourself off to those things that, you're not actually getting anything out of that relationship. It's not serving you any good. You're probably giving a lot more than you're receiving in certain relationships. And I just sort of see Gemini there, like, just trying to get along with you is a hurdle in itself. And it feels like I'm just climbing this mountain and I'm never going to get to the top of this mountain with this person. And so I'm just going to, choose to not persevere with that relationship and actually end that relationship, and not be worried by doing so. All right, because with every ending does come a brand new beginning, and that's very paramount with that coffin energy, that grave energy, because when something's dead and buried, that energy then does transform into something else. And the reason you're sort of doing this, we do have the bear energy coming through. There's this implication of you needing to sort of nurture yourself and protect yourself. I feel for some of you, you may have had times and things happening in these relationships where it's just not for your highest good, and it's just leaving you feeling a little bit underwhelmed, and like you do need to sort of put some boundaries up between you and these other people. All right, so the bear really is about boundaries, and making those quite clear, just not letting people overstep your boundaries, so that you can protect yourself and nurture Gemini, rather than worrying about nurturing all these other relationships that aren't sort of going anywhere. So that's sort of what we've got coming through for you today, Gemini, with all that. But we'll have a look at what's coming through with love. Okay, what's the goss with Gemini's love life? What's the goss on Gemini's love life this week, please? Okay, I hid who I really am from you. Okay, so definitely, I feel like this is someone who is still kind of hiding their feelings for you, Gemini. That they hiding their true self. That it may not have been until after this relationship. I feel like this is someone that you're not currently in a connection with. I hid who I really am from you. It's kind of talking about, you didn't actually even see the entirety of this person. They did hide parts of themselves. I do feel for at least one of you, they were actually like, this was actually full on hiding something big about themselves. And they hid that from you, and you may or may not know about that, but I do feel for some of you that's actually something quite big that they've hidden from you. So it's kind of got that that vibe of like, maybe I hate to say it, but it's really got that vibe of that you maybe were seeing somebody that, and then wondering why they went all weird or they weren't available at certain hours, and it's kind of turned out that they actually already had a partner, and they were hiding that whole side of their life from you. They were hiding a child from you. I'm just getting that hidden family type of vibe coming through there, which that's atrocious to think that somebody may have hid that sort of stuff from you. But for some of you, it was just more about money. Someone hiding, how much money they were actually spending, hiding some sort of, money addiction. Like I'm getting gambling addictions coming through there. But it does feel like something quite big has been hidden from you, from a person in your past there, Gemini. So I don't know whether you know about that or not. But, we are asking for all the goss today. So if you don't know about that, here's the goss. I know I was a distraction from your pain. All right. So they do feel as though, I feel as though they were using you as a distraction a little bit here. I do feel as though this is your knowing. You are kind of knowing that you were distracting them from something else, and that there was something else going on. And that was maybe for some of them, that was what they were hiding from you, this pain that they were had. I feel like for a lot of them, it may have been heartache, that kind of thing, that they were still kind of not over their ex, or still having, like I said, have a secret relationship, and they were having troubles, and that's why all of a sudden they're in a relationship with you. It's not coming through the bears, because I wish I had have treated you better. So, they do hold a lot of regret here. They do regret the way that they've acted, and the things that they've hidden from you. They do regret that. That I wish I had have treated you better. That does talk directly about regret being held on to by this person. But I do feel as though for majority of you, this is a past person. So if you're currently in a connection, I don't feel as though it's that person. I feel as though this is a past person, and they're still kind of, I feel like, even though you may have known that you were a distraction for them, you still are. I feel like that they're trying to do other things, and all of a sudden, Gemini, I can't stop thinking about Gemini. I'm just getting that vibe that that they're still thinking about you quite a lot as well. All right, but we'll have a look with the Lovers Oracle. What's the Goss? What's the Goss in Gemini's love life, please? What's the Goss in Gemini's love life? All right, we've had 2 flip on out there, Gemini. Okay, we have this card here which says, acceptance is the key to inner peace. At times, we must accept things as they are. There is no point trying to change that which is beyond our control. So I do feel for a lot of you, this is talking straight about that past energy there, that, finding your own peace with that situation, regardless of what has happened in that situation, how, because I am getting this strong sense of betrayal from that hidden thing, that you may feel quite betrayed by that person, but accepting that has happened. You can't control the past. It's beyond your control to change the past. So it's kind of like that energy of accepting that has happened, accepting the feelings that has brought up for you, and help you find that inner peace to move on from this past energy there. Look inside yourself, Gemini. Examine what is causing you to feel this way. All right. So I do feel for a lot of you, this is kind of, you're holding on to this a little bit, just because of the emotional upset connected to that past person. So looking inside yourself so that you can sort of realize that, there are things that happened in the past that you can't control the past. It's been and done. It's all about looking forward into the future. All right. So speaking of the future, I'm going to grab a couple of cards for you, Gemini, looking specifically for you for love in the future. Okay, what's the Goss on love's future for Gemini? What's the Goss on love for Gemini in the near future, please? Okay, so I am kind of seeing that it's a journey. Okay, it's not something that's going to happen overnight for you here. This inner acceptance and looking within yourself. We do see the cross here, so that does talk about, there's still some burdens that you're carrying. That was followed up by the moon, which does talk about your emotional sensitivities, your emotions. So you're still carrying the emotional burdens, from the past a little bit here, Gemini. But as soon as you sort of lift those, because the other thing with that cross energy is it does really tell us to have faith that, destiny has something in plan for you. So it's just a matter of, having that faith that, have faith, love will will come. And, then we do see that once you sort of start to release the past energy a little bit, release those emotional burdens you've been carrying around, we do see the ship energy. Okay. And oh, sorry, that's actually the anchor. I always get them confused because it's got a literal ship on that card. And, in different decks, it's all, we do see some similar imagery crossing over cards in certain decks. And that's the anchor, though. So we do see that, you will find that emotional security. It's all part of the journey, all right? So, it's a kind of similar meaning to even if it was the ship anyway, being that the ship and anchor are pairing cards. But they're just sort of opposite in the way that they do that. And one talks about a lot of movement, whereas the anchor talks about, slow and steady, kind of winning the race. This just sitting and being still and looking within yourself actually really does help that movement in the future. But it's really all about your resilience and your dependability, just with love in the future. That once we sort of do release those emotional burdens, that we will find a more dependable, secure love. A love where you're not having to worry about hidden things. You're not having to worry about, being somebody's distraction, or being with somebody who, isn't treating you well. Okay, so really just needing to, focus inwards first before we're focusing on moving forwards too much in love at the moment, but having faith at the same time. We do see that cross energy, which is all about keeping the faith, faith in love, faith in yourself, all that sort of stuff. But just releasing a few of those emotional burdens that you're carrying before we roll on through into anything brand spanking new. All right, so that's what we have for you today, Gemini. You're more than welcome to check your other placements. Please subscribe to the channel if you're not already. I do really appreciate that. But hopefully I'll see you all again soon.